Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and boy do we ever have a doozy of a figure to take a look at today, because we have a brand new Marco Makes Rubbersaurs figure. And not only that, but we also have the Atrociraptor. We've got a brand new Atrociraptor from Marco Makes, and if there's one thing that I was a big fan of in Dominion, it was the Atrociraptors. I loved everything about them. The design, they were just awesome, if you ask me. And it seems as though most of the Atrociraptor figures that have been released by the majority of the companies producing Jurassic products have been kind of a letdown to me, because even though the Mattel ones were pretty cool, the paint schemes were always messed up. They just didn't look as good as they should when it comes to what they looked like on screen. You also had the Takara Tomy versions, which weren't really that great. The best versions previously would have definitely been the Toy Monster International Captives versions. Those, in my opinion, were the best up until now, because now we've got the Marco Makes Rubbersaurs version, and even though the figure's not out of the packaging quite yet, I have seen enough images to know that it is amazing. And I also love the brand new style of box art for Marco's products, as we now have this really cool kind of window look, but we also have like the cage here that the Atrociraptors were held within and contained within, and man does it ever look awesome. Like, it is super nice looking. Again, very much so looking like it did in Dominion. You can also see the Marco logo as well as Atrociraptor down here. And then again, our Atrociraptor there kind of peeking out. And then up here on the top, you've got the Rubbersaurs logo and Series 6 collectible rubber dinosaur model. And then if we actually turn it over here, kind of see like a sneak peek of our Atrociraptor in there. And then you've got some amazing dinosaur toy photography here on the back of the box. And we also have a barcode and QR code, as well as information down here on the Atrociraptors. And of course, it does say subscribe to Marco Makes on YouTube, follow Marco on Instagram, like Marco on Facebook, support Marco on Patreon, and purchase more models from Marco Makes Etsy shop. And then we can also see again that it is made in England by Marco Makes. And we also have a thanks over here to both Sora and Alex for the casting. And then a special thanks to the viewers, subscribers, supporters, and followers. And again, the box art is so super professional here on this release. Not that it hasn't been, because, you know, for quite some time now, he's been delivering some of the best box art for his products that I've seen. But this is exceptionally beautiful box art. So let's pop this box open and check it out. Also in the box, we've got some fun little extras, as we've got a really cool Marco Makes card here, which you can actually see this Atrociraptor making an appearance right there. But we've also got ourselves the T-Rex, the JP3 Raptor, as well as the Rubbersaurs Velociraptor, the Lost World Jurassic Park Velociraptor right there. And then on the back, you have a QR code as well as an image of his Rubbersaurs T-Rex, which, boy, I can't wait to get in my hands. But we also have a Marco Makes, it's always upside down when I bring it in, a Marco Makes sticker and a Rubbersaurs sticker and a little thank you note. As you can see, Marco gives us this little note here, just thanking us for helping to contribute to Marco everything he does, and again, purchasing a model from him, because he is an absolutely amazing human being. So on top of supplying us with a fantastic figure, we also get a nice thank you. And then here is our absolutely magnificent Atrociraptor, and man, is this ever beautiful. It's so impressive to see how good Marco's figures are. Like, they were so good when he was hand sculpting them, like prior to 3D sculpting, but now that he has moved on to 3D sculpting, like, they don't get more professional than you see here. And man, is this thing ever awesome. Like, sculpt-wise, it is beautiful. Paint-wise, it is equally as beautiful. And clearly, this here is the definitive Atrociraptor Panthera. There's no better Atrociraptor out there that I have seen, more so than this Marco Makes Rubbersaurs version. This thing is incredible, and just look at it standing there. It has such a presence to it. Boy, I can't wait for him to release the rest of the Atrociraptors, because once I have the Marco Makes Rubbersaurs Atrociraptor squad complete, I feel as though I will not ever need another Jurassic World Atrociraptor figure again. But this thing, again, definitely deserves a closer look. So let's go ahead and jump straight to that closer look right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of our Atrociraptor, that right there, what you are seeing is perfection when it comes to a Jurassic World Dominion Atrociraptor. The sculpt is phenomenal up here in the face, and on top of being phenomenal, you can see how good the paintwork is and how it highlights that really nice detail. He's done a very good job of applying numerous different tones of color here to the face, but also really nice dry brushing techniques and stuff to highlight that really nice looking scale detail. And you can see quite a bit of difference between the scale detail here running along the jawline, the scale detail here on the lower jaw, compared to even back here, or compared to the skin texture in the palate. Like, there's so much difference to the appearance of the Atrociraptor, and honestly, I don't think I ever realized just how much actually was different here in the face of the Atrociraptor when it comes to the detailing. Like, it's really, really impressive how much different types of skin texture and stuff you have here in the face. And you can also see those kind of, like, I'm not really sure what you would call them, those sort of like ridges that run here off of the lower jaw of our Atrociraptor. And you can also see he's really nicely dry brushed with a gray. The detail out here, so that lighter gray that he has there really nicely kind of pops in between the scales that we have here. And there's also like a scoot-like appearance sort of running down the throat of the Atrociraptor. The eye is painted perfectly. You can see we have a really nice brownish tone for the majority of the body of our Atrociraptor Panthera, but you can see the eye is painted with a nice yellow, given a black pupil. Also a perfect gloss coat to make it shine very realistically. And there's also some black there in the eye socket area. You can see some black stripes kind of like showing up here and there up on the top leading down into the palate. The nostrils are sculpted really nicely, and he's added a gloss coat to the nostrils, which is a very realistic aspect that I love when people do. Not everyone does it. I always do it when I paint my models, and it's so cool to see Marco doing it as well, because I just feel like it adds another level of realism to the figures. We do, of course, have an articulated jaw. You can see some really nice detailing as well as really nice paintwork there on the side of the skin and the mouth. You've also got some beautifully sculpted teeth, and he's painted them with a nice kind of like an off-white, actually more like a light yellow, so that it not only makes the teeth stand out, but also helps to add an element of realism to the mouth as well, because you wouldn't expect dinosaurs to have beautiful pearly whites, so it definitely helps to add, again, another level of realism, which clearly Marco is very good at doing. And you can see here as we lead back into the mouth, if my camera would focus on it, which it really doesn't want to do, there's a really nice tongue sculpt in there, nice texturing to the tongue. It seems like that might be the best way to get a look at it, and you can see that that tongue sculpt looks super realistic. There's also a really nice gloss coat added to the inside of the mouth as well, and we can get a look here at the inside of the mouth on the upper side. Absolutely awesome looking, even though the mouth isn't, super huge, so we can't get in there too far, and also the shadows are kind of overtaking it, but look at how nice that gloss coat looks in there. Really, really nice. Very realistic, again, wet look for the inside of the mouth of our Atrociraptor. And that jaw, you can see, look at that. That works perfect. Doesn't get any better than that when it comes to an articulated jaw. And you can also see on this side, again, how nice the actual head sculpt looks, how precise the paintwork is. This is the best Atrociraptor that I have seen, no doubt about it. As we lead up here to the top of the head, you can see almost like a scoot-like appearance running along the top of the head as well. Some more really nice scale detail. The print quality of his products as well is phenomenal. Like, the detail is just so vibrant on his models. It looks really nice. There's also some more of that black kind of leading up along those scoots, and then you can see kind of like some black stripes. We continue to have those black stripes as we move down here into the neck region. You can see the spinal column right there, kind of like some osteoderms and stuff poking up here and there. More really nice skin texture. We've also got some nice skin wrinkles and stuff, especially down here in the throat as you lead down, showing some nice movement and everything here in the neck region of the Atrociraptor. That light gray continues to run along from the lower jaw into the throat, but we also have like some black stripes that lead down, as well as like some gray spots within those black stripes. And you can continue to see how those black stripes up here on the top run down the course. They start to become like really squiggly as you lead back here into the mid-back area before tapering off, but you can see the skin texture again looks great as you lead down the arm. We've got some nice muscle definition there in the arm, very nicely sculpted out and displayed. The elbow looks great, and as you lead down, you have beautiful hand sculpts for your Atrociraptor. Really nice scoots down the fingers. He's done a very good job yet again with kind of like a darker gray, dry brushing over the lighter gray, really highlighting the detail beautifully. You have some nice paintwork for the nails, as we have a black, very glossy black for sure, which helps the nails shine realistically like they would. And we of course have articulated arms. There we go. We can see how they articulate very, very nicely, so we can pretty much put them in any position we would want to make our Atrociraptor look however angry we would like, but I kind of like them back like this. I just feel like when they're more so in the body like this, like held into the body, they just look so much more natural. But actually, I'm going to pull it forward again here for just a moment so we can get a look at the stomach region. Actually, we'll pull the leg back because obviously we have articulated legs as well. But you can get a look at the nice skin wrinkles and everything here in the stomach region, the lower part of the stomach. We continue to have that gray, that light gray, with the black leading through, really perfectly replicating the color scheme of Panthera. More absolutely gorgeous looking skin texture. Look at how nice that scale detail looks as you move along. You can again see the spinal column, some osteoderms poking up here and there. And then as you lead down into the leg, you've got some more nice muscle definition leading down the thigh, a few more osteoderms poking up. You see more of that light gray as well as the black leading back along the back of the thigh. Very nice kneecap, some skin creasing right there, nice big bulging calf muscle, because we know our Atrociraptors can run and they are very fast, so you would expect them to have really nice, very defined legs. As you move down, you see we transition from the brown to that light gray again, and we have a gorgeous foot sculpt with some nice scoots down the toes. Very nice looking nails, and I like that they genuinely look sharp. They don't look dulled down or anything, because these are for adult collectors, so we get the pleasure of having much more realistic looking nails rather than those kind of, curved type of nails you would see on like a Mattel figure. Nice dew claws back here, sculpted out as well as painted. And again, all the nails have that nice glossy black to them. And then we lead up here into the tail. Again, we have more of those stripes leading out and designing here as we lead out through the length of the tail, more of that nice light gray, and more really nice skin texture and skin detail as we lead out the length of the tail. We do have a slight curve here at the end of the tail here to give you a better idea of that curve. There you go. You can see it from the back. Definitely helps to show you how it curves. The majority of the figure elsewhere is kind of in a neutral position, which the Rubbersaurs usually are. Because being articulated figures, it's up to you to kind of articulate it and display it how you would like. But you can see again that everything looks just as gorgeous detail-wise and paint-wise over here as it did on the initial side. Just an overall phenomenal looking figure. Even the undersides of the feet are really nicely detailed, and the underside in general of the figure looks great. We even have the Rubbersaurs logo right there as we move along. More beautiful skin textures, skin wrinkles and stuff you can see there under the thigh and the groin area. Even some chest muscles. So man, this thing is absolutely gorgeous, and again, like I said, definitely the best Atrociraptor out there currently. I have yet to see any Atrociraptor that can compete with this, and I really don't expect to. This is a complete masterpiece as far as a Jurassic World Dominion Atrociraptor. And again, just in case I wasn't all that clear, one last dose of the articulation. We've got the articulated jaw, the articulated arms, and the articulated legs of your Atrociraptor, and all the articulation works really nicely, really smoothly, and the figure can stand perfectly on top of everything. So for a size, lengthwise, you are looking at about 9 inches or around 23 centimeters, and then height-wise, a little under 3.5 inches or around 8.5 centimeters, but that of course would depend on you and the stance, the position that you put it in, because you could also have it standing upright a bit more, which would make it massively taller. But for a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Marco Makes Rubbersaurs Atrociraptor, and you can definitely see that they are very nicely sized next to each other, and you can also see that the Atrociraptor is quite large and could definitely kill poor Muldoon, who is standing right there in front of it. But for another comparison, we've got Mattel's somewhat goofy looking attempt at Panthera next to the masterpiece from Marco Makes here, and you can see that they are fairly similar in size, but Mattel's is definitely a little bit smaller than what we see in the Marco Makes version. And obviously the Marco Makes version is far more screen accurate when it comes to both the sculpt and paint. And you never really notice how far off the Mattel version is as far as the sculpt goes. until you see it next to one that's actually screen accurate like the Marco Makes version, you can really see just how far off the Mattel version is when it comes to the overall appearance of the Atrociraptor. We've also got the Takara Tomy version of the Atrociraptor here next to Mattel's, which I think this is Panthera from Takara Tomy, but their paint jobs are just like so confusing. They don't really make it very clear who is supposed to be who, but I'm pretty sure this one was Panthera. And you can clearly see yet again that Marcos wins this round as far as the screen accuracy and the paint job goes, as far as the screen accuracy of the sculpt and the paint job, I should have said. But I think that the Takara Tomy version was a little bit closer to screen accurate, more so than Mattel's, but still not quite there, and obviously the Marco Makes version wins it yet again. And then we've got the Toy Monster International Captives version of Panthera here next to the Marco Makes version, and yet again Marco wins, but you can see that the Toy Monster International version looked a little bit better than the others, I think, and definitely looked closer to what it looks like as far as the on-screen version goes, but still not near as nice as the Marco Makes version, which yet again is about as perfect as it gets. And then for one final comparison, we have a Mattel Velociraptor here next to our Atrociraptor from Marco Makes, because I feel like the Mattel Velociraptor is probably a figure that any Jurassic collector will have at least one of, so I thought that one would be a good one to bring in for a comparison to yet again give you an idea of how sizable the Marco Makes version of the Atrociraptor Panthera here is. So this brand new Marco Makes Panthera, the Atrociraptor from Jurassic World Dominion Rubbersaurs version, is awesome. Absolutely awesome. I am so excited to actually have this because I felt like I was going through Marco Makes withdrawal because I haven't had a new figure from him in a little while. So thankfully, the Atrociraptor here has released, and I was so excited in general for the Atrociraptor, specifically because, again, I'm such a massive fan of the overall design of them. Clearly, it's not accurate to what a real Atrociraptor would look like, but it's a Jurassic film. They never really are accurate to what the real animal would look like, but as far as the design that they had come up with for the Dominion version, I really fell in love with it very quickly, and just in general, I fell in love with the Atrociraptors, the entire squad overall, so I was pretty much aching to get a really good Atrociraptor figure in my collection, and once Marco had unveiled this and let us know that it was coming, I was like antsy beyond belief to get one because it's the best version of an Atrociraptor that I have seen. And that's, of course, something you'll find most often from Marco because he absolutely studies the sculpts of his dinosaurs that he's trying to recreate and makes sure to capture every ounce of detail perfectly on his models. And I know he's like a perfectionist when it comes to that. And yet again, he has succeeded in doing that here with this Atrociraptor because it legit looks like it just was pulled straight out of Dominion and brought to me here in action figure form. And he's also, again, not only sculpted it out to look perfect, but the fine detail is fantastic. And again, the print quality is beautiful, like really, really high quality print here on this 3D sculpted model. And on top of all of that, we also have some gorgeous paintwork that perfectly resembles Atrociraptor Panthera from Jurassic World Dominion, and it all looks really nice and natural. Nothing on it, in my opinion, looks like paint on a figure. It looks like body color. And he's done a great job of kind of like dry brushing certain areas out to make it look really realistic and highlight the sculpt beautifully. And if all of that wasn't enough, you also have articulation for your Atrociraptor, and the articulation works beautifully. It all works really smoothly, and on top of that, we have that incredibly cool packaging that this was sent in, which again is the perfect way to display your Atrociraptor. And what I love now is that Marco has made it so much easier to be able to put your figure back into the packaging, because I always like to keep my figures from Marco in the original packaging, so whenever I can, I'll put it back in, and that's usually how it stays, and I keep it in there because it at times can be a little bit hard to kind of get it out of the packaging and then put it back in and have it continue to look nice. And I also don't want to wear down the packaging because I really like it. So this time Marco has gone ahead and created the packaging in a way where I can just take the Atrociraptor out and put it back in with ease and not have to worry about wearing it out or anything like that. So definitely a huge thumbs up from me as far as the new packaging, and the overall design is gorgeous. I don't know for sure when Marco will be making some more of these, but I do know that he has plans on doing that, and releasing a few more of these at some point in the near future. So once Marco is intending on putting some more stock up of these guys, I will definitely let you guys know at some point in like a news video somewhere so that you can grab one and be hopefully first in line to score yourself an amazing Rubbersaurs Atrociraptor. So make sure you do that, grab this when you can, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.